Good morning, everybody. I'm finishing up those plates that I was working on yesterday. Good morning. Happy Friday, guys. Hey, yeah, I'm gonna finish it all up. So this is the last thing that I do in making these plates. Alright, and I got my iPad set up. Good morning! Hey, Jamie! So here, I'm just gonna say a quick morning and show my face for a second, and I'm gonna zoom down in so you can see all the action. So, hey everybody, good morning. And I'm gonna adjust this angle a bit. Hi, Sharon in Florida. Hey, thanks for joining me up here in Vermont this morning. So here's the plate. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit more. So this is the plate that I made yesterday, that I rolled out the slab, and then I pressed it into foam yesterday evening. And now we're going to put the foot ring on. Good morning, Charleston. Alright, so as you can see, it's just a flat plate right now. And we can leave it here, but I want to put a foot ring on it to raise it up. And also, the other thing I do with my foot rings is I hang my plates on the wall, so I want to be able to put a hanger in there. So I, put two little holes in it. Now you don't have to do that. Vermont, your favorite. You don't have to put the holes in, but I put them on everything I make because it gives the person buying it the choice of how they're going to display it. Sometimes you want to put a plate, maybe you want to hang it up when you're not using it. So I've got this ready. And I have, you remember the disc we used to press on the inside? Well, you need that now. You need it again. And you sit that inside here. And I am going to take the plate on the bat and I'm going to flip the whole thing over. And now I'm going to sit this on my banding wheel. And I'm using an Amico banding wheel, the kind that you can take apart easy. And I do have a Shimpo, which I love, but there's a really good reason why I use this. And I'll show that to you in the process. You'll get to see. Now, and it has to do with flipping. I'll just say that. Alright, so I'm going to take this off. So there's my plate. Bottom. I'm zooming a little. Yay, hi, yeah, we're going to do grenades later. I'm going to put some sprig molded grenades on the corners of these plates. So, I don't know if you guys at home can see the edge of this. There's a little, not focusing, a little cracking here. It's more like, oh, there you go. Now you guys can see it. So that's just from when you press it. Sometimes the clay is stressed and it stretches it a little bit. So I need to compress that and get that smoothed out. So with a damp sponge, you're watching someone take a ceramic plate and put a foot on it that they made. It's ceramics, pottery. It's a good way to start your day. So I'm just going to smooth this out with a damp sponge. And then with a rib, I'm just going to go ahead and compress that. Alright, so now we're going to get to the foot ring part. This is the exciting stuff where I put the foot on the bottom of the plate. So I know this part right here is the flat, like where the edge of the wall and the bottom of the plate on the other side meet, right? They meet right here. So I am just going to score right along there and just spin this around and score it. So this is where I'm going to place my foot ring. And if you don't throw, you could roll out a slab and cut a strip. Or you could extrude a foot ring. So that's nice and scored. Now, on my wheel over here behind me, I have, you can see back there, here, right there, are all my little foot rings hanging out. And I'm going to cut those, and I guess I'm going to take you guys with me, but it might be a little jerky. It might be an interesting trip. And I'm not going to be there very long, because, you know what? Do you guys think we can handle it if I just leave you here, and I go over and do that, and show you what I'm doing? You know what? I'm going to bring you. Decisions, decisions. Now, I'm going to bring it because, I'm going to bring it, but it's going to be, let's see. It's just I didn't want to have to put the tripod up Okay, you're going to be down low. This is going to be a very... I can't read your comments while I'm doing this. All right, so we're right now we're at... This is the foot ring section that I threw yesterday. And I've already taken some off because I went ahead and put a few on this morning before I started. So I've got the foot rings ready, and I'm going to take my serrated rib again, and I am just scoring the top of this. Just as the wheel's spinning, I'm just scoring. I don't know if you guys can see this. So as I'm spinning the wheel, I'm just scoring. So it's creating this rough... It's Potter time, exactly. So after I score it, I'm going to pick how tall I want my foot to be. And so remember yesterday I threw it and I made these little indents with my rib. And I'm making my foot rings about this tall. So I'd say a little more than, I'd say ½ inch, about ½ inch. So I'm going to cut this. I can't cut it there. Maybe I can bring you over here. Here. You're moving a lot around my studio today. I'm going to put you on this side so you can actually see me cut. Alright, so I'm going to cut this right here with my needle tool, and I'm just supporting the inside of the ring that I'm cutting with my finger. And I'm just going to lay the needle tool here and hold it steady. And then it's gone through. So now I have my foot ring. And so I can just lift this off and take it over to the plate. So let's go to the plate. All right, so we're back. I'm just going to quickly set this down so I can adjust the... All right, and zoom back in. Yeah, the foot ring got... it's not a problem. The way it's looking at might be freaking you out there, but it's fine. I just set it down because it's still really wet. So I just start lining the foot ring up on the marks that I made. Does it need to be soft? Yeah. You know, yes, you need it a little soft because you have to stretch it if it's not the exact right size. I already slipped and scored everything. So remember I slipped and scored the foot ring, and I slipped and scored the plate before I cut the foot ring. I don't know if you were here for that. So I'm just placing it now, spinning this on the wheel. And you see it's a little out of round, so I'll just go back and smooth it to get it back into the round. And you know, clay has a memory, so it's going to try to remember being a circle. So I don't have to worry too much. I mean, it might not be a perfect circle, but it'll be pretty close. And if you're doing it from an extruded piece or a slab, you know, then you just adjust it to fit how you want. So I'm going to use my sponge, and I'm pressing down, but not so hard that I'm like smoshing it. I'm just kind of pressing them together and smoothing off any of the crumbs. Now I'm going to take my fingers here and I'm going to spin this, and I'm pinching. Oh, I can't understand what you are typing because I cannot read that. I hope it's something good. Anybody out there read that? So I'm going to get my sponge damp and just keep smoothing this. Oh, you know what? I think I didn't get enough slip on it. I'm going to pull it off. I thought I did, but, you know, hey, it's clay. We can do this. Alright, now I'm going to put it back on. Sometimes they stick as soon as I put them on really well, and sometimes I have to work them a little bit. Okay. Now let's get this back into shape. Well, they really aren't usually. They're about the same moisture. The key is, you know, I throw the foot rings the day that I press out the slabs, and I let them set overnight in the slab pieces. Thanks, Jamie. Yeah, check it later. So they are at the same moisture. Right now, I'm running my heater, which is a pellet stove which blows hot air. Meow. Hi, Tim. And this piece wasn't covered as awesomely as I would have liked. So it's a little drier, the plate I mean. But the other plates I have are as wet as the foot ring. So I've pressed that on with the sponge and smoothed the foot ring. And now I want to go in to the inside here and clean up this joint. So I'm just using my favorite little rubber tip tool and smoothing that joint. And you can go back in again with the sponge, or you could use a rib to do this too. You could use your finger. Your choice, whatever you got. So right here needs to be a little more rounded. I'm going to do the same thing that I did there on the outside here. I've never had a foot ring crack, ever. Of course, I better knock on wood right now because I said that. I've had the plates themselves break, but never the foot ring. But I do cover my work and let it dry really slowly. So now with the sponge, I'm just going back over that to make sure everything's smooth. So that's basically the foot rings on, right? I mean, that's pretty much all there is to do. You know, sometimes I'll take my rib and go along just to smooth where the flat of the plate is. So exciting. So that's it. That's the foot ring on. So now to take the foot ring off, this is what's so great about having that Amico bat that comes apart. I'm going to zoom out just a hair. Sorry, excuse my fingers. I'm going to put my bat on the plate again, and I'm lifting up from underneath, and I'm actually lifting the bat, the banding wheel off completely. So there's the bottom of the banding wheel, and then I just, you know, put that back down. That's just to make it easier to flip it. So there's the plate. This is a banding wheel. This right here is a banding wheel. So there's the plate. There's the foot attached. So the last thing that I do, now that I've got the foot ring on and it flipped over, is I know the foot ring is right here on the plate. I just take the sponge and lightly go around. You could use a rib, and I'm just compressing it a bit more. I don't want to press so hard I squish it down, but I do want to make sure that's a nice joint. Alright, and then I'm just going to go back with my fingers. Ta-da! That's it! It's done! All done! Well, no. There's a little edging work, which all I have to do is go in with my sponge and smooth the edges out. And I could have, when I first cut this shape, used plastic and smoothed the edges before I even pressed it into the foam, and, you know, rubbed it with plastic, and that would have pressed it down. But I forget to do that every time, and I always just smooth it later. So I'll smooth this at the wheel, because I'm also going to add some grenades to the surface of this. Which, I mean, we could do that now, right? I mean, that's why we're here. Have some grenades. So we'll go to the wheel and we'll do that. I'll sprig out some grenades and you guys can check it out. So we'll go back over there. Here we go. Oh, I do have to adjust my tripod. So I'm not prepped for grenading it. There, I'll try to hold it still. You can look at what's exciting. There's nothing exciting here. It's all a mess. You can look at the foot rings. Alright. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to sprig mold some grenades. I'm going to take this off and put another one on and just set that to the side. Get a clean bat. I know I had one a minute ago. I hate it when they run off on me. Ah, here we go. Alright, so you guys use sprig molds? Does anybody? Hello? Do you guys know what sprig molds are? You don't. So, nope. So a sprig mold is a mold you make to press clay into to make a shape. I'm going to show it all to you. I know you're not a potter. I forgive you. It's okay. These, you get confused about making them. I'm not going to make one right now, but I will do a making demo. The molds. So these are sprig molds. These are bisque molds. So these started out as a lump of clay, right? So they were a lump of clay that I pressed, in this instance, a grenade, a little grenade that I modeled into first. And then I fired this, and this is what I got. So it was a lump of clay I pressed the shape into, pulled the shape out, and had the negative of it. And then I let it dry completely, and I fired it. And I can actually show you one I made. Toby would have a sprigs. Toby would have a hard time getting the clay off. So I did make sprigs earlier, and I make sprigs from found objects or from things that I make, like from things I model. So here is a bullet, and here's the sprig. So I pressed this into the clay, right? And then I pull this out. Now I dusted this with cornstarch in order to, no, this is a little mini modeled one. That's a mini grenade. So now I have basically an impression of this bullet, right? And so once this dries all the way and fires, it'll come out. Here's a bullet one I did the other day, well, a little while ago. So it'll come out looking like this in color and everything. It was a different bullet, so they have different shapes. These are sprig molds. You press clay into them to make shapes. It's a puppet-sized grenade, yes. And here, I'm going to get some finished ones. So here they are before they're glazed. Here's the grenade, here's the mold. You press the clay in, you pop it out, and then you fire it. So there is a grenade, already fired. This will become a pendant, this one here. This is a rifle that I modeled, and then I pressed into clay, and now I press out multiples, so I can get more of these. And the reason I want to press my own is because I want to have them wet enough, you want some, so that I can add them to my own work. So I have to make them myself, which is what I'm going to quickly do. I'm going to quickly pop out a few grenades. So let me get my clay, and we're going to do that, and I'll show you how they're made. Alright, so I'm using porcelain to make these, but if you know, whatever clay you're using, I'm going to put the finished plate over here for a sec, and I will... No, I smooth the rough edges off when it's still damp. You don't have to file. Clay, when it's still wet, Toby, is really easy. Now, they're not hard at all. They're very simple. I'll show you how I press them out. So I start with a coil of clay. You have rough edges. I'll show a finished plate. It's a different, I'm getting sidetracked. It's a different size. Here's a finished plate in a smaller size. And there's the foot ring. This is an 8-inch plate, and there's the holes I put in to hang it. And this, so these rifles, the way I got them on is I pressed them into this, popped them out, and attached them to the plate when it was wet, just like the one I just made that I'm going to show you with the grenades. Thank you. Yeah, so let's make some grenades. Get this happening. So I've got my little mold and I've got my coil of clay, and I just press it in with my fingers. Okay, the next time I walk away, you can totally trash talk me. Well, I have stuff all over my studio. I have to grab it, right? So that's done. It's in there, and then I just press it down and I pull it off. So you see my little grenade? Got a little grenade. And it's wet. It's as wet as the plate that I made. So I need to cut off this excess that I have. And I'm just going to use this knife, which I didn't clean last night, so it's got crud on it. And I'm just going to cut the excess off. So for the plate that I'm making, I want 4 grenades. 1 for each of the cardinal directions, for north, south, east, west. So I'll make 4 of these guys. And when I'm like making a bunch of grenades for pendants, I will just sit here and press out grenades for a couple hours and get a few hundred grenades done. And I go back in and I clean up any parts that, you know, might not be perfect afterwards. So there's 2. We need 4. You could use molds. You know, you don't have to make your own sprig molds. If you find something that you like that's a mold, you could, do I have opposing sides for pendants? Right, in the rifles I do, and the grenades I just make them facing this direction. They are, the pendants are like this, flat on the back. They're not rounded, if you're asking if they're that way, because they need to lay flat and fit nicely. Arg, ugh. Oh, I wanted to mention too, someone pointed out to me that I don't catch all the comments and respond to everybody, and I'm sorry. It's not that I'm doing it on purpose, it's just I don't always see them. Alright, so let's make 1 more grenade. I'm human. It's true. I know, and I know sometimes when I'm watching a scope and I'll make a comment and I miss and nobody responds to me, I kind of like, hey, I'm asking you something, but I understand. Unlike Toby. Toby's not human. It's true. Alright, so I've got my little grenades ready. So funny. Ridiculous. So I'm done with that clay. And now we can start putting the grenades on. I'm just going to sit them. I have a little board up here, my work board. I'm going to sit those there. And Toby, I'm walking away to grab my banding wheel. You can talk about me. I wasn't gone that long though, so I hope you talked fast. Alright, I'm going to back off a little. My camera's getting so much clay on it. Alright, so here's the plate. Now, gonna smooth the edges. So just using my sponge, I'm just gonna go in and smooth the edges. So I go over it once all the way around with the sponge. And then I go back with my little mud tool that the red one, because it's so flexible. And I'm just compressing. And the only place that these like to crack is right here. Like whenever you have an inside cut, they want to crack. So some of the scallop plates that I do, I have to really compress them right here. That's compressed. And then I go back with my sponge and smooth it. I really need to remember to try the plastic thing. I don't know if Corey's still out there. I think she said it to me when I was doing it last time. So this part, I don't know, I must have bumped it. It's a little flat here. I'm just gonna, great tips, yeah. I'm just gonna smooth this, round it out a little more again. There we go. Better. Much better. I'm happy with that this morning. You made it in time. You made it in time for my scope to make it live. It's so funny, I forget sometimes when I'm watching replay scopes that it's a replay, and I always try to comment. Well, I'm glad you made it. So this bit here is a little, you too, is a little wonky. I'm just gonna shave a little off. So that's really, the edges are done. Melted the whole kiln away. Haha, that's a good one. Toby, that's good. Did you make that up just now? Because that's pretty impressive. You did? Yeah, so now you're right on track, so you get to see the finished part. I don't know if you saw the foot ring. I already put the the foot ring on. Alright, so we're ready for grenades. So these guys are gonna go here. So I lay them on first, and I have a couple choices on placement. Now I could put them here, or I could put them on the points, right? So I have to decide the points or on the scroll part. That's like the aesthetic decision, right? The first way, yeah, I think so too. You like the points? Well, here's a grenade one, a smaller plate I did on the points. So there's one with the grenades on the points. I'm looking to see if I have a grenade one. Purple glaze. Or here. I don't know, I think here. I think I'm going to go here because it's bigger. I don't know though. That looks good like that. Let's see. Oh, but you know what? When you go this way, there's a really nice thing happening with the points and then the grenades on the way the scroll comes down. And of course the plate would probably be hung. Yeah. Yeah. This would be the top, right? So this is how you'd see it. Yeah, this is good. So to put these on, just like adding anything. So this clay, I just took it out of the bag and pressed it in the mold and made these. So it's flexible, but it's not wet at all. These I made yesterday, and they sat out, well, they sat covered overnight. So they're about the same as far as moisture. So I'm just going to score the back of this with my rib that's been dipped in my throwing water. Woo! Grenade got away. And I'm doing this to know where to score. I need to clean that. So I laid that down there, and it left behind some of its slip, so I know where I'm going to score. So I'm just going to go in. Kind of aggressively scoring too. This really has to be bonded to the surface really well. Alright. So he flattened out a little. Just gonna press this in lightly with my sponge. I'm not trying to distort the shape, I just want to get it on there. Now, where'd I do my... From flat form to the form that it is now. Oh, the plate. You'll have to go catch that on replay. I pressed the flat plate into foam. Yeah, I pressed it into foam, which popped the sides up. And then I just this morning added the foot ring, which is what's happening. Foot rings on the bottom now. Toddler mattress, right, or foam from your an old sofa. So I use this again to hit the join. I'm just going in and compressing and smoothing out the whole thing. So I go all the way around. Get down in the bottom. There. So it's on there. That grenade is not going anywhere. It's part of the plate now. So I'll just spin around, and I'm going to do that to all the grenades and stick them all on. I did some mugs where I put grenades all the way around it. Like the whole mug was covered in grenades. A little out of hand. And then I made them all gold. So that's in the house. So it's my golden grenade mug. Hey Heather. Nice to see you. I don't know if you're here already. I'm just seeing you join now. So that's scored, and I'm just pressing it down. You can feel it. You can feel it when it... I'm just gonna pot or earn, but bump. That's good. You're killing me this morning. I love these things. If you guys don't have them, you should pick them up. They're great for finishing. Anytime you have a join, you just use this to smooth out that area. Or if you've scored something and any of the score marks are visible outside the join, if you use the side of this, it just erases them. Yeah, it's a little rubber tip tool, and this is made, it's called a color shaper. I don't know if you can read that. It's color shaper. It came in a set. Are you doing that to keep the small pieces in place? I'm not sure what you're asking. I've slipped and scored. How do I attach these? Right, artists use them to move paint. So I am slipping and scoring the back of the grenade. Yes, right. Right, the whole set. I probably got these on Amazon. And I'm slipping and scoring here. Right, and then I will attach this. And it keeps them from moving, if that's what you're asking. So I'm joining the two wet pieces. I am on Twitter. You can find me on Twitter, jessphillipsart, the same as here. I know it's weird to have that as my name, but I started my Twitter account ages ago, and I never changed my name on it, and it's kind of a pain now. So I'm just smoothing the edges again. So that's on there. I mean, these guys are not going to come off, and they don't crack. And like I said before, I really dry slow. I don't have a damp box. I just cover everything with plastic. Tim C. invited one person. Jess Phillips Art. You got it. That's me. Tim, you invited one person? What's the deal with that? Like, only one person should come watch this? Oh, you invited Foamy Homie because you miss him. Royal Sovereign brand shaper. These were a pack of kids shapers that I got. Kids color shapers I got, I thought from Dick Blick. And I can't remember. I've had them for a long time. I've had them so long that they come apart and I have to epoxy them back together now. Like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, we all like Foamy Homie. Isn't it early for him? That's fine. Yeah, no. I'll catch up. You know, put it on out there, and if I don't understand, I'll just ask you to clarify. No worries. It's all good. Almost done. So I do put holes in these, like I said, for things to hang on the foot, but I'm not going to do that yet. The foot has to set up a lot. It's really still too wet. I would go nuts for the Royal Sovereign. Yeah, I probably would. I love tools. Like, bet y'all didn't know that. So the one last thing I do for my grenades to help for a kind of an aesthetic thing is grenades have this little pull ring on it, right? The little metal ring. Well, on these here, it's kind of flat. So I'm just holding the back of the plate and I'm just pressing down to make an indent. I don't know if you guys... No. The weight of the grenades never warps the rim. These rims are 5/8 of an inch, I think I said, is what I roll these out to be. So they're a little thick. I mean, not ridiculously thick, but not super fine, thin porcelain. You know, they're more serviceable, which totally fits with the idea behind my work. You know, the idea of service and, you know, making something out of porcelain that's maybe not so delicate and breakable. Something that's a little sturdier. You like thick plates. There's a joke there. But I'm not going there. Someone else is going to have to do it. This is porcelain. It is Laguna porcelain. It's the 16, I think. And I cannot lie. So this is it. The plate is ready for well, to sit and just dry. That's exciting, huh? Dick Blick. You guys have a store you can actually go to. See, I don't. I have to order everything online. So this one's done with grenades. We could do one with rifles. We could do rifles now. So there it is. Done. Alright, so the grenades are finished. Now I have... Here's a plate that I did earlier, and the foot is already on it. I did that a little bit. This one is a little thinner than the other one. Cheap Joe's. I love Cheap Joe's. So we could put rifles on this guy. Ooh, a bomb. Yeah, I like that little bomb thing. I was looking for a grenade little emoji. No, there isn't. Yeah, Cheap Joe's is an art supply place. Aren't they out of North Carolina? Aren't they in Boone? I think they're in Boone. Yeah. I used to live in North Carolina, and we went to Boone, and unfortunately, they weren't open. Oh, are they in Raleigh too? In Asheville, they're everywhere. So when I went there was only one location. Come pottery making. Pottery making every morning. But you can watch me on here. I'm already married, so I'm sorry. Can't marry anybody else. It's illegal, right? Alright, so the edges are smooth on this. You won't know. I'm not in Utah. I live in Vermont. I mean, we're pretty liberal here, but that's pushing it. It's Eagle. Your wife's from North Carolina. I went to University of North Carolina for my undergrad. That's where I first learned. You can be my best friend. You can be my best friend on Periscope. Sure. Yes, he will. KP Metrics will know. Actually, yeah, he will know because he's watching my scope right now. He's creeping. You guys are so funny. Okay, so we're gonna make rifles. Here's a rifle. Here's the sprig mold. Here's what one looks like that's pressed out already. Now I'm going to make some fresh ones out of clay, and we're going to stick it on the plate. So I'm going to do them just like I did the grenades, where I have to roll out a coil. I'm going to move my little plate to the side while I do that. Creeping. A pottery creeper. Hey. Alright, so this I make the same way. I have a really big coil, and I just want to make sure the coil is big enough to fit over the sprig mold, right? And I just press it in. And this clay is straight from the bag. I do. Yeah. I make my own molds out of an object. Now you can use any found object, or you can actually make the object yourself. Like you can model, sculpt a little object and make your own. So there's the rifle. And now I have to cut it out from the extra clay. Yeah, you could, some people use it to make buttons, like they'll make molds of buttons. It is a gun, it's a rifle. It's based on an M16 rifle. Or AK-47, yeah, it's a military rifle. So I'm just gonna get the rest of this off. So I need, I think, 2. And maybe we'll make some bullets too, why not? If we're gonna put rifles on the piece, we should probably put bullets as well, because you need ammo. So I'll make 2. There's 1. Actually, I'll leave it down here so you guys can see a done one. Don't mess around. No, I make guns and rifles. Yeah, I was an okay shot. KP Metrics, are you still hanging out? You could talk about if I'm a good shot. Make it so it's shooting. Well, the bullets are too big. You'll see when I make them that they're too large. I was a good shot, yeah. I'm still a good shot. Yeah, very good shot. I made a couple Marines cry because I was a better shot than them. But, you know, they can't be bigger than the gun. Yeah, well, it's all, you know what it is? It's good hand-eye coordination. It's paying attention and following direction when you're learning, right? Girls can shoot better. It's true. Well, I mean, they can both shoot equally as well. It's just, I think, starting women do better because they listen and pay attention to the directions. I think men tend to just be like, I can shoot. I don't need to listen. Hips. I don't know what that has to do with it. Alright, so there's 2 rifles. So there is those, and now let's make some bullets. So I'm thinking the plate is going to need 4 bullets. Yeah, so this is a sprig mold I made earlier out of this bullet right here. And this is just my reclaimed clay. So I save all the clay that I work with in my studio, which is porcelain and B-mix. And I mix it up to reclaim it, and I add some gold art to it. I actually remix it as a batch of clay. I use the reclaim as the starter for my clay. You love Phoenix? I think you love, you're trying to say love porcelain, maybe? Or Phoenix, Arizona. Did I miss that? So here's a little bullet. Oh, Phoenix clay. Oh, I don't have that here. I have, my supplier does Laguna, but you can make anything you want out of clay. It's true. No, I don't add red art. I add gold art. So I have a clay recipe. Right, so I add gold art, I add ball clay, I add min spar and some silica. So I'm basically using my reclaim as the starter for a batch of cone 6 to 10 clay. Good morning, Hen Hill Pottery. You did a lot of clay culture. Yeah, I loved art in elementary school and ceramics. I still have some pieces that like to haunt me that I made back then. My mother saved those things. You know. I have Sheffield. Sheffield is about 2.5 hours from me. Yeah. So I don't get my clay from Sheffield. I don't hunt. No. No, I'm not a hunter. I'm not against hunting. It's just my own. There are no pottery TV shows here that I know of. Thank you. Bill Van Gilder had a show on one of the craft channels a few years ago, I think. Do you guys know Bill Van Gilder, the potter? Yeah, he had a show. This is my studio. It's a barn behind my house. I don't wear gloves. This is porcelain clay. Why would I? Oh, you yeah, and DIY. That's right. Yeah, I saw it ages ago. I think I was an undergrad. This was like 10 years ago. I don't wear gloves, however. Yeah, you're not going to eat it. Well, it goes in a kiln and gets fired. So it's going to go to like 2180 Fahrenheit. So anything on it would burn away. Any of my germs that you'd be potentially getting is going to be long gone. I promise. So there's 4 bullets. They're making another. Are you talking about the Great Pottery Throwdown? This currently is porcelain, so it's just pure white clay. The color comes during the glazing, which is later. Yeah, I got to see a few episodes of that. But I have to admit, some of those people didn't really know what they were doing. It was bare handmade. This was bare handmade. Bare handmade by me. No gloves were used in the making of this pottery. Well, when I make the grenades by themselves, I do lusters and make them gold and platinum, you know, like silver. So these will be gold. Here, let's show you. Here's the rifles attached to a plate. Oh, she's upside down. So they're gold. So I put a luster on them. They were hobby potters. Yeah, that's what I thought. I did that. I did do that. That's what I do. One of the many things I do. Yeah. Yeah, I watched an episode and I was kind of like, they were crying over, like, making nesting bowls that had to fit all within each other, and I was like, I do sell them. Yeah, just amateurs. It was a little sad. Okay, so now we can put all these on the plate. Let me set these to the side and get the plate out, and I'll attach these. Did it without gloves. Right. No, like, oh, these are single pieces. Sometimes I do installations of multiple pieces on a wall for museums. So you can check out my website, jessicaputnam-phillips.com. It's on my profile here if you want to see more of my work. And the rifles will be clear glazed with gold. Yeah, my Shimpo. So I bought this Shimpo at Insica when it was at Milwaukee in, 2014. And I had to lug this thing around with me all day because my hotel was 5 miles from the conference. Don't do that. Never buy, do not buy a Shimpo banding wheel. It is little, but it's heavy. This thing's solid. I had to carry it around all day. It was a very, very bad idea. Yeah, so I'll never do that again. So I'm just lining these up. Oh, the Potter's Expo. Yeah, I bet that's crazy. So there's the rifles on. I don't know, maybe I need 4 rifles. What do you guys think? Does it look a little empty over here? I do have the bullets. You know, the bullets could go here. You like two? You could put the bullets here like this, happening. And then the sides would be empty. Let me turn it so you guys can see it better. I don't know, can you see it better? To get an idea. Yeah, that's pretty good. That'll work for this plate. It does depend on the rest of the decoration. Well, it'll have a female soldier in the center, and then it'll have decals and china paint, floral. I'll have flowers all around it. They're not fitting though, see? They go down into it. I don't like that. I want them to not go down there. So the bullets aren't going, I think the bullets are not going to happen. Sorry. But hey, you got to see me make them, so that was the exciting part. So let's put these rifles on. Oh no, don't cry! I'll think about it for a bit longer. How's that? The female soldier is my drawing that I print out as if they hang off. Let me think about it for a bit. Let me put the rifles on and then we'll look at it again. Okay? So the female soldiers are my drawings that I've put them into my computer and turned them into images I can print out on decal paper. So yeah, they are a decal from my drawing. Yeah, I could place, well, I could put them here, kind of at a crate. No, that gets crazy. Backseat potterin'. It's the backseat potterers. I do. I draw them. So I'm using my favorite little guy again to clean up the edges of this rifle, of the sprig. And on the rifles, they need a little more work than the grenades when you put them on. Backseat potter. So what I usually end up doing is I'll put these guys on, and then I'll go back in after they've potterer. Wow. It's a potterer. A potter will be president. You know, I don't know. Why not, right? Why couldn't we? I mean, you have political views. It just depends. I don't think that has, you know. No, a potter won't be president. If they wanted to, but I just don't see it happening. Too slippery. Ba-bump, bump. Tim C. You know what, Tim, you gonna run? You don't want to run for president? Anything's possible. I'm getting so frustrated with the presidential race situation that I might run. I'm telling you. You can all just write me in. Dirty politics. Well, at least you know up front, right? Does he throw? Too funny. I get your vote. Yeah, I totally would run. I just don't think I want to deal with it. Is that awful? Like the job of being the president? I don't know. Put my little guy on there. So I'm just squishing him in. The Great American Throwdown. I know. That we need one, right? How would they decide who gets to be on that, though? Would it be open to full-time potters, potterers, who are working in their studios, or would it be only hobbyists again? The Donald. Alright, rifles are happening. First law that I made, I would make it so that if you're a military veteran, you never had to pay taxes again in your life. I think if you serve your country, you should not have to pay taxes. I mean, senators, if you serve as a senator, you never pay taxes again. Why do they get that? Why do they get that privilege to not pay taxes? They aren't out there on the front lines serving their country. So I think if you're a veteran, no taxes. Rest of your life. I don't understand why that can't be. You know, only 2% of the American population serves in the military. So it's such a small amount, it would not affect us at all. You didn't know they pay? Oh, we pay. I just did my taxes, thanks. So my husband and I are both veterans. We both served, and we both pay taxes. So you do pay, and you shouldn't. So that would be my first law. So obviously I've thought about it, right? What would I do if I was president? No taxes. I think artists, yeah, vote for me. I think artists should be tax exempt too. Seriously. Retired Air Force. Hurrah, Air Force. I was Air Force. Pottery in every school. Oh, the senators don't. No, they don't. They don't pay taxes. Isn't that nice? That's like what they get. Is they don't have to pay taxes. It's kind of ridiculous. Acupuncturists who serve vets. Tax exempt. We could just go on with the tax exempt situation. All right, back to the bullets. Let's look at them again. I've got the guns on. Guns on, guys. So here it is with. There's one with. And I was looking around my studio. I actually have one done. Let me see. Let me grab one done with the bullets. Yeah. Toby, you can talk about me. I'm going to go grab this piece to show. I have to walk over here. Don't worry, if you hear a crash, just me. Okay. So here's a bigger, same idea. Look, nobody's talking about me. I'm shocked. So here's a bigger plate, clay under them so they lay flat. The bullets are moving. 2 more guns to see how it looks. So here's one done, bigger plate. So if we hold them next to each other, you can see this plate is a lot bigger. Here is, I'm trying to get it so you guys can see it. So they have the bullets, 4 bullets on each point, and the guns on each scroll. Yeah, so, but this is a bigger plate, you know? It's a significantly larger plate, so my concern is I'm overwhelming the surface because, well, they shrink quite a bit too. They are that big. Oh, you mean caliber? If you're asking caliber, I could tell you at this point because they are shrunk. Like, so maybe, yeah, I think it's too much on this small of a plate. Here, it's just a dinner plate. Can you see the back of the big one, Toby? Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to make smaller bullets, right? So here's the back. It's a little dirty because it was sitting on the shelf. So there's, let me scoot back a little. There's the back, foot ring, hanger with the hole right there, so you can hang it. But there's the back. So this is glazed with an like celadon, an aqua celadon on the rim and back, and then the center is clear. And then, thank you, nice footwork, ba-bum, bum. And then the soldier decal, and then China painted in the floral elements in the vintage decal. So I think I could do this as is with the bullets, and this would be as much as I'm going to put on this one. 2 bullets sideways, opposite gun, like here. Like here. Is that what we're saying? That's a little weird. Of course I ship to England. Why wouldn't I? Yeah. No, it's a good suggestion. Why not? Why not try it, right? I mean, maybe that way better, but then I think they're kind of redundant, like we don't need them. One on each side, but then it's kind of, or up. Oh, haha, do I fire 3 times? I fire like 6 to 9 times. It's a little insane. Like this. Yeah, I don't know. I think they're kind of lost in the side. It'll look good, I promise, with just the 2. Crossed over. Yeah, I could cut. I mean, I could cut it up and do that, but then I'm getting fussy and finagling and all that. I do mostly mix my own glazes, yes. I just recently started even considering using, yeah, I think I'm just going to go with the guns. I just recently started considering using commercial glazes, but I mostly use a clear, which I make myself. Less is better. Well, it's also going to get gold luster. It's going to have all this color added to it. It's going to be done. Like, there's going to be a lot happening. So it doesn't really need all the extra stuff. And you're right, but more is more. And sometimes I do more. Like this plate I made that's going to be part of the Clay Studio National next month that I'm supposed to ship down like tomorrow to them. And it's all grenaded up. The plate does shine, yeah. So there's this one. Yeah, I agree with you. The plate needs to shine too. So, and it's going to shrink. Remember, this is going to get smaller. So I don't want to be overwhelming everything. Let me show you this one I did that is going to the Clay Studio. It's like finding that balance of embellishment. Get to work. All right, get to work. So here's one that has the grenades all around the rim attached. And so there's the foot ring. This is a scalloped template that I use to make this plate. And I have to tell you, each one of these you have to compress really well or it will crack. They are a pain in the butt. But, I mean, if you just compress them, it's fine. It's just more work. And there's the back. And the side. So this is how it looks on the wall, you know, because it's going to hang on the wall. And there's all the grenades. So this has the 6 grenades just around the side. And I had a, you know, I wanted to put more grenades in, but it can get overwhelming. Right, the flowers are actually vintage decals, Toby, that I buy online. And I match the color of the soldier to those. So I paint the colors with China paint to match. Yeah, but I do a lot of my own floral drawings, and I've been thinking more and more of doing the floral as my own decal. Right? I love the vintage too. It's part of the work. It needs that vintage. You know, it's a historical reference for the piece to have decals that were actually used in production by Lenox and other China companies that, you know, people will come in. Was I in combat? I was deployed to combat zone. I was not in combat because I was military intelligence, but I was deployed during war. But I didn't see myself any, thank goodness. So I'm just going to compress the rim of this. That's my pleasure, you know. So this little guy here will get grenades. Yeah, watch the replay. Check it out on the replay. Ninja Turtles! Ninja Turtles! My Marine. I know, my Marine. I don't know if he's still hanging out. He's actually supposed to be working. He can't be watching me scope all day. He's got to do his job. I did not learn this in the Air Force. No, I didn't. I learned this after. Thank you for asking, though. Just want to hit this again. I don't want any cracking. Just smoothing it out. So yesterday when I made these, I weighted them down overnight with a bag that I make, a little like sandbag. Now that they have a foot on them, I don't have to worry about them bowing up. So I don't have to weigh them down anymore. The air can flow well enough, so I usually just cover them with plastic. Oh, I just got a notice. Adam Fields live at a prep day at a workshop, you guys. Be a mass exodus to go watch him, right? I'd be watching it if I wasn't doing this. If I wasn't scoping myself. Not me. You're not gonna go see. He's prepping. I think he's giving a workshop, right? Well, thank you for hanging out. And staying with me. Alright, so there's another one already. Yeah, he's in Atlanta. You can totally watch the replay. Music aside, I have 3 more that I have to put. I have pianist hands. Well, I think I have artist hands, right? I've got 3 more I have to put the feet on. That I have to put the foot on. Wonder if I could do it over here at the wheel so I don't have to go back to my table. Let me try it. My music needed to be restarted. Sorry about that. Busy being my back seat potterer. Right, I need my back seat potterer. So I'm going to switch this bat out. So I use bats, you know, I like to throw everything on bats and just take the bat off and not try to pull the pieces off unless I'm making cups or small bowls. Everything else I just switch out bats. Just makes it easier. And then I don't distort pieces when I'm moving them. So here is my cylinder. U2. Yeah. So it's ready. How many more can I make? 1, 2, 3. I can actually make 4 more feet, but I only have 3 plates that I made yesterday. Bummer. I should have made 1 more. I might be able to cover it up really well overnight if I make another in a bit. I'm covering up my rifle plate and my grenade plate right now, so they don't dry out. Porcelain will crack if you let it dry too fast or unevenly, so you have to watch that. You have to make sure you cover it up. Alright, where's my other plate? Over here. My chair has wheels, so I can zip around the studio. Which makes it really nice, see? I can come back and forth all I want. So here's one that I pressed out, and I'm going to go ahead and put it on the table. I think I'm going to have to take you guys back to the table to do the foot ring. If y'all want to see the foot ring again, I know I've already done one. Judy just uses a towel to cover up high humidity. No, I have a lot of, well, mine's really dry right now when I'm running the heater, and in the summer, there's a lot of humidity. In the summer in Vermont, we're very humid. All right, so I'm taking you back to the table. Oh, I gotta put the tripod legs down. All right. So in Vermont in the winter, where are you going? What's going on here? So in Vermont, it's very humid in the winter too, but I run a pellet stove as my heat source in the studio. And so it dries everything out really fast. In the summertime, I don't have to run heat, and I don't really run fans because it's not quite hot, you know. And the humidity is really high, so my pieces dry very, very slow in the summertime. But in the winter, they like to dry fast and unevenly, which can be a big problem. Because if the porcelain dries uneven, then it cracks. Like the rims will crack. Okay. Ooh, you're up so high. me pull you down a little. There. So I'm going to put another foot on. Is anybody even still there? It's so quiet. Hello? It's just me now. No, there's some hearts. I can't see any comments for some reason. What is... Oh, there you go. For some reason the comments were hidden. Alright, so... Working and listening. 12 of us. Well, I think as the scope goes on, it kind of dwindles, right? I mean, you can only stay for so long. I'm working, so I figure I can work and you guys can watch me. And it'll be exciting for everybody. I'll have company. So I'm going to flip this over onto the piece that... Alright, so this one, when I pressed it out... Oh, you had to have a puppet sandwich. When I pressed it out, it was a little dry. So you see it has this little bit of cracking, but not a problem. Puttering in the studio. No, that's okay. Just listen. I like to watch scopes and when I'm throwing and I can't comment because my hands are covered in clay. And sometimes the person will be like, hello, anybody there? And I'm thinking, me. I know. I'm just going to compress this wedge in the clay. So I'm just compressing that where the clay stretched a little too much there. Alright, now, slipping and scoring. My favorite potter of all time. Oh, you guys, this is a great question. My favorite potter that is still alive, because we can do both. Or do we start with my favorite potter is dead? Because I love Beatrice Wood, her work. She just passed a few years ago. But my current favorite potter is Grayson Perry. I love him. I love him, I love him, I love him. I love his work. I think it's amazing. And then, if we want to pick my favorite potter that I know personally, is Roberto Lugo. He's the favorite one that I actually know, because I don't know Grayson Perry. Unfortunately. But Roberto is my favorite real person that I know. Worry about grit? No. Whose specialty? Toby? Grayson Perry? He does a lot of social commentary on his work and great poems. He also is a cross-dresser. He dresses like a woman. Yeah, so he dresses like a woman. He has this alter ego that he goes by. You can search him up. He's crazy. He's awesome. He won the Turner Prize. So he's the first potter to win the Turner Prize, which is a huge prize in England. I don't know if y'all can see me. I'm grabbing one of the foot rings off the back. So that's where I ran off to. I'm just over here doing this. But I'll be back with a foot. Okay, I'm back with the foot. Doo, doo, doo. So this one is a little smaller than where I marked, but it's not a problem. I'm just going to line it up, and the foot will stretch just a little bit as I go around, right? So you can kind of stretch it out. You could easily just make a coil and add a coil foot too, or you could extrude it. I think I already mentioned that. You could extrude a coil. I have never extruded a coil for putting on my foot. Like, you're checking out his work now? Hey Jet, nice to see you. Yeah, Grayson Perry's work's awesome. He also does some transvestite, yes. He also does some tapestry work. And he had a TV show about art and culture in Britain, or taste in Britain, which was pretty cool too. Do you want me to zoom in more so you can actually see what I'm doing? Hey PJ, coming back to see me? Yeah, taste. All about taste. I tell you, I would be his apprentice if he had them. I would totally do it. I would go to England. Yeah, he's British. He's married to his wife's a psychologist. Yes. Yeah. His wife's his therapist. Yes. Yes, I did say Grayson Perry. I know. I know. He's something else. Everybody should know Grayson Perry. You keep losing connection. When I did my master's, he was a big influence on my thesis. You know, just how his work. Well, you know, he does social commentary, and he's taking things that people don't want to talk about and putting them on pots. And he uses the historical reference of the vase, a lot of Greek forms, foot ring, exactly. He uses traditional Greek forms, and he puts this contemporary narrative on it, which, you know, if you think about what the Greek forms were, I'm going to put this up a little bit. So what the Greek forms were used for when they were made, they had their contemporary narrative. You keep losing me too. I don't think it's my end though. What do I hate most to see potters do? I don't know if I hate it, but it's like, I'm just going to get rid of that. There's sort of a pet peeve I have about people who are all about how much clay they can throw. Like that's the best thing they do is like, I can throw this much clay. I think it's great people can throw a lot of clay, but I don't know. That's just that's my own little thing. Maybe it's because I'm just a little girl and I can't throw 100 pounds of clay. Which is the truth, I can't. I can't, but I can make some seriously big pots. When I did my undergrad exhibition, I threw these amphoras that were almost as tall as I was. Yeah. And I didn't throw them all at once, you know, I built them in coils, and I threw the coils up on the pot and built it up that way. So I did that as my little, I can make big pieces too, and that was the end of the big pieces. Like seriously big pots. I don't need to make pieces that are that ridiculous. Although, I've been thinking of making some larger urns or vases, but not that big. You know, I'm thinking 2.5 feet tall size, not 4 feet tall ridiculousness. Or, I mean, you've got some people. That big pot I didn't make. That big pot is at the Sèvres Museum in France when I went there last fall. The same, no development, too commercial, right. There's a lot of people out there that just make the same thing over and over and over. I didn't make that vase, Toby, but I wish I did. And I have to say that I would make a big pot. So Sèvres does a residency. So if I go there to their residency, their craftspeople will help me make big pots. Or I will design it, and they have the machinery to do that. To make their own big pots. What's boring? The same thing, Jet? Never developing your work? My work has changed a lot. Or I'm boring. I'm boring. Alright, so this foot ring's on there. And I'm going to flip it over. I am boring. It's true. Pull that back down there. And now we have our plate. Footed plate. Love me some big ceramics. Yes, and I think they're great, but if you're just throwing big just because you can, it's kind of ridiculous. You didn't mean me. Oh. Alright, so I've compressed this good. So this guy's ready for some grenades or something to happen. But I'm going to go ahead and put the feet on the other two plates. Thanks, Toby. Take a nap. We'll catch you later. Thanks for tuning in. Toby, you'll have to scope soon so we can catch you. Right, guys? Bye. Have a good nap. I did show that, and I may do that again before I stop the scope, but if I don't, you can catch it on the replay. But yeah, making on a big scale. Right, no, I agree with you. Making on a big scale. Good nappy. Have a good nap. Have a good nap, Toby. We'll miss you here. All us potterers will miss you. I'm fixing my tripod. Jim Robinson. I don't know him right off the top of my head. I might know his work. See, I know a lot of people's work, but I don't necessarily know their names. So when I see it, I might recognize it. I'm perfectly fine with large pieces. I think big is great. Just not making big for the sake of making big. Like, you have to have a purpose in it. Has to be a reason, right? I mean, you shouldn't make anything without a reason. This is a weird angle. You guys want me to zoom in a bit more so you're not looking on top of my head? Robison. Ah, same though. I still don't know the work. Tell me about it, Jet. What is it? Time for a foot ring. Let me slip and score this. Hey! From South Yorkshire. Big. Hand-built big, Jet? So there's my area that I'm going to add my... This is porcelain. This is Cone 6. It's from Laguna, and it's their number 16 clay, and it's their porcelain. So, but it doesn't go as translucent as a Cone 10. Outdoor stuff. Yeah, I'll look him up, because I don't know that work. I'm not familiar with it. So I'm getting my foot ring now. Okay. Oh, you guys get to see the back of me doing that. I didn't know you could see all the way over there. Awesome. So you kind of saw me getting the foot ring. I would need another tripod and have to drag everything over there. Once was enough. I'm just stretching the foot to fit. Ah, are you going to go to it, Jet? A 5-day workshop in May. Well, if it's near you and you like his work, you can afford to do it. I always encourage people to go to workshops if they can afford it and they have the time. I wish I could go to Australia to Carol Epps' workshop that's coming up that Adriana's been talking about. But alas, Australia is a bit too far for me. So I'm just compressing this. Yeah, I think it's a great idea. So this is compressed on. And I'm just going to smooth the joint on the inside again. Don't even remember doing this on the other one, but I must have. You'd have to sleep over. Yeah. So you got to figure out the whole thing, right? If it's worth it. You did. Hand build the ring. Yeah. So when I was in France at Valoris, I did a residency there this past September and October. I was over there. I didn't throw my feet for the plates. I didn't have a slab roller. I had to throw my slabs of clay, and I threw a slab and then cut a strip to use as a foot. But you could extrude a foot. You could extrude a foot, or you could just use a slab or a coil for your foot. It doesn't matter. I throw these because I want them to be as uniform as possible, and I find that when I hand build, they're good, but they're not as exact as when I throw them. So that's my own thing, but someone else might find that their hand build feet are great, and they don't, they're perfectly happy with it. So this is just, you throw a slab, right. So instead of rolling the slab out with a rolling pin, you take the clay and you kind of throw it like pizza dough. You throw it towards yourself, so you pull it back and then boom, and let go. And when you do that, it as it hits whatever surface you're throwing it on, the force of the movement causes the clay to move, so it actually moves your clay for you. So you're throwing out a slab, but it's throwing a slab because you're throwing it. I don't know how else to, like what else to call it besides throwing a slab. I can demo it, not right this minute, but at some point. But instead of using a rolling pin or a slab roller. So the next step after this, I'll go do that right now with this. Actually, I can do it right here. I'm just trying to clean up this foot ring a bit better. Alright. Done with colored clay. Oh yeah. So, you know what? I want to smooth that foot ring a little more on the bottom. It has a few bits that I'm not happy with. Just want to get it exact. I'm sort of a perfectionist. Hard for me to loosen up. Alright, so I'm going to flip it over. So to finish this plate, if I wasn't going to do, you know, I put grenades and such on mine, but you don't have to, right? I mean, you just have to do the edges. So here's the plate with the foot ring on it. And now the next thing to do is to smooth the edges. And I just take a damp sponge and I just go around the plate and I smooth the edges. And whenever you're cutting in, and I said it already earlier, whenever you're cutting and you actually cut down and in, this is a place that cracks like to happen. So you really need to compress this part right here. You have to compress to prevent cracks. Miss Judy just joined, and I know she knows all about cracks and compression. And I was just in time for my little talk about cracks and compression. So on this plate, when I cut this form out, I cut inward and I cut back out. So I'm like cutting in and out. And so right here, let's chat. So right here is where it will crack. So I have to compress it really well in order to prevent that from happening. I missed you, Judy. Hadn't seen you around. And so then I just compress the whole rest of it. But the most important part is to compress in this area. And when I do scalloped plates, you know, plates that are nothing but that cutting in and out part, I have to compress it like crazy. Oh, Judy, I miss you too. It's not like in Sika, is it? We don't get to hang out every day. Judy, are you going to the opening for the Clay Studio National? Is it killing you? Are you going to go to the Clay Studio National opening? Because it's May 6th, which you're going to try. I don't know if I can. I think it's a little too far. I don't think I can make it. It's a lot for me to go for just the opening for... It's a show I'm in, but it's not like a solo or something. Please. How far are you from it? How far are you from Philly? Thank you. Thanks. So the edge here is just 1.5 hours. That's too far to drive back after, isn't it? You would have to stay overnight. 1.5. Just come there. Let's talk. Let's message. It's not too far. All right, let's message. We'll figure this out. Maybe I'll come. Maybe I'll come. I'm finding out today if I'm going to a residency at Haystack. It's a veteran focus. Focus on my work. There's a residency that I went to last year. It's called Combat Paper Residency at Haystack. And it's all veterans that go, that are artists. And it's a scholarship, so I don't have to pay to go to the residency. So it's a wonderful opportunity to go to, you know, the Haystack Mountain School of Crafts, and I don't have to actually pay to go. It's, you know, taken care of because I'm a veteran. And they're you saw the show 2 years ago. Well, I did it last year. I was in the show. And I've been asked to do it again this year, and I applied. Right. I went last year. Oh my God, was it cold. It was so cold. I was freezing. It was like 45 and awful. And if I go this year, I'm bringing an electric blanket for that little bed. It's May 22nd through the 28th or 9th. So it's a 1-week residency. But it's really fabulous. There's only about 20 of us that get to go. So they're going to let me know today. So this one's done. All done. The edges are all smooth. Space heaters. I know. Definitely. Oh, your connection's bad. Well, maybe on replay it'll be better. So this one's done. I got one more. One more to go, and then I will put feet on all my plates today. This is the last one. All right. Ooh, so I can show this to you. So I told you how this part likes to try to crack. Look, see how it's already starting? Already starting to try to crack right there from the cut. So I'm going to compress it, but I have to say, when I see this happen, it's almost a lost cause. Like, I can almost guarantee that what is happening there. I hate that. I hate that I can see myself. It's over. It's over. I'm going to try to save it because I'm just that way. I might be able to cut into it. I don't know. I've already got the plate made, and I'm going to just do it. And if it doesn't work, meh. If it doesn't work, then it'll end up going in the house and get used by my family. I mean, really. Right? You do that seldom? You try to save things seldom? Or you don't try to save them? I don't know. I had something going the other week, and I was seldom works. No waste. Well, you all saw my scope with my wedding plate issue where I was, trying to save that plate with that D and refired it and everything, and I had to go ahead and make another one. And I should have just, when I saw the mistake, I should have just said forget it and just gone on, right? I should have just said forget it and gone with the new one. But I didn't, and I lost a couple days. The only thing that actually saved me on that was when I made the first plate. Yeah, I know, it's so hard to save it. When I made the first plate, I made a second plate just like it. Like, I made a second one thinking it might break. And it did, right? So I'm going to cut my foot ring off. Now, you guys can kind of see me over here doing this. As I'm scoring the foot ring. And then with the needle tool, I'm just going to cut it off the cylinder. There we go. Yeah, it's so hard to save things once they start going. And then you spend so much time messing with it, you could have been doing other things. Smarty pants. Me? Me a smarty pants, Judy? I'm not really as awake as I usually am for some reason today. I'm kind of mellow this morning. Brilliance. That's right. Well, this is all slipped and scored. I'm just trying to get it to fit, so I'm just messing with the shape. Just messing with the shape of the foot ring here. I'm so proficient. Well, I put the feet on 6 plates. And yesterday I pressed out 6 plates. So it's not really a lot. If you think about 2 days, 6 plates. Granted, I wasn't in the studio all day yesterday, so I can't. You just had breakfast with me. Judy, is it a late breakfast? It's 11:30. It's like lunchtime here. So I've got to hit this with a damp sponge, and then I'm gonna have to adjust it a bit more. The speed and the confidence. That's just from doing so much, right, Jet? You just do it, and you get used to, the way something should be. Why is this not? Look, speed and confidence. I have to re-slip it. It's just too dry. Bummer. Didn't want to stick, but that's all right. Now it will. Pottering for years. It's an hours thing, right, guys? I mean, the more hours you put in, the better you get. Woodpecker woke you up at 6 a.m. I wake up no matter what at like 5:30, 6 o'clock. It just doesn't, sleeping in just doesn't happen. Yeah, there's a lot of professional ceramic artists here. You wanted to shoot the woodpecker, Judy? I think it's a great place for us to connect, though. You know, a lot of us are, like myself, alone in their studio, and this is the only time we get to connect with others. Plus, I get to ask people, you know, questions. They can backseat potter me. Like this morning when I was putting on the bullets and the rifles, right? So people got to tell me it is a good community. You know, I have to say, it gets lonely when you work alone in your studio. The amateurs, I think they're in school programs. There's, you know, the hobby. But I don't know, there's a lot of people that follow my scopes that work jobs full time. And they do this on the Perry Pals. Yeah, I was so lonely. It was just me, and, you know. You're just a person. Yeah, we're all at different places, Jet, though. Don't be intimidated or anything. You know, it's better than perimenopause. Ooh. Judy. Alright, so this guy's on now. She's so silly. Just checking it. Let me put it back on. The name before, I love it. Perry Pals. Isolation is a killer. It really is. I have a friend who has been doing ceramics for a long time, and she's actually stopping because she works all by herself. I do sign my work. Other people, less professional. You invented it. Yeah, so my friend is like quitting clay. She's doing other things. Yeah, she's by herself in her studio. She works all alone. Her studio's not near her house. She has to drive a few, you know, she has to drive not far, but it's just that extra step of it, and she's alone, and she feels kind of isolated. And I'm here, but we're about 30 minutes apart, so, you know, and I'm working, and not going to be able to stop to go hang out at her studio, and if she's working in her studio, she's not going to stop to come hang out here. Yeah, so she's doing more fiber. Yeah, so she started doing more fiber. So here's that crack. That's that bad crack. Let's see. I'm going to compress the heck out of that thing. And I'm going to keep track of this plate. Yeah, so she's not quitting being creative. She's just stopped doing clay because she's not feeling it. She says she lost her inspiration. You know, she just doesn't, she goes in the studio and she's just like, nah, there's nothing there for her. And I understand the way she feels, because if you're isolated and alone, you know, you just kind of by yourself, and it's no fun. In the limbo world of stay-at-home mom, well, that's definitely a profession. That's a full-time job. Is she selling a pug mill? No, she doesn't have a pug mill. She gave me her Giffen grip, though. Just straight up gave me a Giffen. Is it Giffen? Giffen grip? And, and I've never used it. I mean, it's just sitting in the box over there on the counter. Oh, well, when your youngest starts, then you'll get to do stuff. So when my daughter went to preschool, it changed everything as far as when I could work and the amount I could work. Yeah, it makes such a difference. But those years while they're little and at home, you just got to cherish that and be with the kids, and, you know, that's really, because those years go fast and you don't get it back. Judy knows, right, Judy? When your kids are little, be a senior in high school. Yeah, and they get so big so fast, and they don't want to. Ashley's at a workshop right now in Africa, and she's live making, you don't have kids yet? Anyhow, Ashley's live at her workshop, and I think, don't we want to see what Ashley's doing? Yeah, she's scoping, guys. I think we should all jump from my scope. No, I'm going to go there too. So you won't be abandoning me because I'll be with you, right? Yeah, I got to see too. All right, let's go. I'll meet you guys there. I'll see you there. Okay? Bye, guys. Yeah, let's jump. Jump.